Hey guys, Waterfowler41 here, and today we are installing a new exhaust system on my brother-in-law's 2017 Silverado. So this has got the 5.3. It's a crew cab with a short bed. So this is an exhaust system from MBRP. It is part number, that's the instructions, but S5081, and this is the system in T304 stainless steel. Basically what this exhaust system is going to do is it's going to give you an exit right in front of the rear passenger tire. So it'll be, but the ultimate exit of the exhaust pipes are going to come out right here, sort of a Ford Lightning style versus the stock where it comes out in the back. But it's going to be a pretty simple install. There's 4 pieces to it. So you got the main pipe that feeds off of the OEM connect. That's on the right after your third catalytic converter. Goes into the muffler. Then you got 2 pipes that come out, and then they feed into the stainless steel MBRP embossed tips. Now the other thing on here, I forget the name of this thing, but the reason they put on this little J pipe is to help with mitigating drone. So basically what happens is the exhaust noise will bounce up in here and it'll come back, and then it will negate, or basically be the opposite of the exhaust tone going down there, and then it cancels out some of the drone. So that's a common issue, especially when you get into the AFM mode. Like I said, it's T304 stainless, not the 409 version, so it's a little bit more money, but what this will result in is less rust over the long term of the exhaust, and you know, you won't even have the surface rust as much as you would on the 409. So this is the one bolt that you got to undo to get off the OEM exhaust, and we're going to try to get it off in one piece. I don't think that's really all that possible with how low the truck is right now, but again, we're going to unbolt this, we'll take off the OEM, and then we'll slap on the MBRP exhaust. Alright, so we got the stock exhaust system off. We tried for about 20 minutes to get it off in one piece. Unfortunately, the truck is too low, it's not on the lift, and the exhaust is all one piece, and it's kind of a long piece, so to kind of twist it around underneath there, it just wasn't possible. So Sawzall right after the muffler to cut it off. So we cut it there because in the event we got to turn back, it's an easy spot to repair the exhaust at. Sometimes you can cut it up here on this straight pipe, but right here was enough to get the piece out, so basically you cut it in half. Every time you take the exhaust off, you got to do the obligatory start up without an exhaust. Go ahead. Ooh. Rev it. Alright, so once you get the stock exhaust off, you need to pry up this little tab on top of the exhaust, and you need to borrow this band clamp from the OEM exhaust because we're going to reuse that on the front of the MBRP exhaust. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to mess around with these 2 clamps here. Now one thing we just found out is when this came in the box, this bracket was flipped 180 degrees, so this bend was going off that way. And really what you're supposed to do is put it on that pipe, and it's supposed to line up and butt up flat up against that bracket there. So we took off the nut and then flipped the bracket around, and then it fit perfect. Alright, I wanted to show you real quick how these bolt leaders work. So basically you thread this onto the bolt that you're going to use for cutting through the chassis. Then there is a metal spacer, so this black little spacer thing. That portion goes up through the top of the frame, and then it slides in there. You basically fish that little leader through, pull it through, and then you thread all the bolts onto the outside. So there's going to be one here for the outside of the exhaust, and then there's going to be one up on the top there. There are holes just to the right. There's a big opening in the chassis just to the right of that hole, and then for this one there's a hole on the back side of the chassis. So again, you thread that leader onto the bolt, you thread the leader through the chassis to pull, and the spacer. The spacer is inside the chassis. You pull the leader through. The spacer is basically what holds it inside there. Then you thread everything else on the outside with the hangers. Pretty straightforward. Alright, so we finished up the install. So like I said, you got to reuse that hose, or that pipe, or the band clamp from the stock exhaust to attach the MBRP exhaust. Then you got that bolt apparatus, and I was showing you how this bracket, you had to flip it in order for it to line up with the drone eliminator, we'll call it. Then you got the clamp here, ties in with the rubber hanger. Tighten down the clamp. The muffler itself sits at 90 degrees, and then everything just kind of follows the contours of the truck all the way out. Alright, so this is a cold start of the MBRP Lightning style exhaust. That sounds good. Go ahead, pull out. Give it a little rev. Go ahead.